Hey, it's Paul. You know, so many people write in or email me and ask me about the topic of mind reading and more specifically detecting deception. Now, some people just want to know how to do it and some people just want to know if it's real, so I figured I'd shoot this quick video to show you one of the techniques involved in doing it and to let you know that mind reading is absolutely real. And the reason why is because sometimes when we do things or when we act in a certain way, there are certain things that are taking place in our biochemistry that we can't control. And when we're lying to people, when we're being deceptive, believe it or not, that's actually a very taxing process on the human mind. And because of that, there are things that we do that are almost impossible for us to control. Now, the untrained eye doesn't really know how to pick up on these things, but the trained eye or the trained ear, once you know what to look for, yes, you can very easily tell whether or not a person is being truthful with you or whether they're lying to you. So what I wanted to do today was give you a free video. This is actually a short snippet from my new program, The Deception Code, which is a full video course that teaches you how to detect deception in other people. So in today's video, what I want to show you is something called speech analysis. And speech analysis is basically the ability to analyze someone's speech and tell whether or not they're lying to you based on certain verbal cues that you'll pick up on. So here's the video. Hope you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about it. I'll talk to you soon. The next key indicator in speech analysis is a lack of conveyed information. You see, honest people convey information. Liars need to convince you of the information that they're sharing with you. Truthful people expect to be believed, but liars expect to have to go out of their way to try to convince you. So as you analyze someone's speech, that should be the governing body over everything that you observe about this person. Is this person simply conveying information to you, or is this person going out of their way to convince you? So you might be wondering, well, how do I know the difference between the two? So I'm going to give you some key indicators. The first one are what we call referrals. I think I got that one right. So a referral is basically when you ask a person a question and they start referring you to another party. They start saying, well, you could ask my friends, you could ask John, you could ask Bill. Bill was there, John was there, they saw everything. The minute someone starts instantly referring you to someone else, they're going out of their way to convince you. Another key indicator is the future versus the past. So when you ask a person a question and they're answering you in a future tense versus a past tense, they are subconsciously trying to disconnect themselves from the lie that they're telling. Realize this: unless the person's clinically insane or they are a decorated pathological liar, the brain does not like when the mouth starts spouting out false information. Doesn't like when that happens. So people will subconsciously do whatever they can to disconnect themselves from the lie. So when you ask a person, did you sleep with this person or did you steal that money, and they answer you saying, I would never do that versus I didn't do that, those are two different answers. I would never do that is a future tense answer. I didn't do that is a past tense answer. The answer that you're looking for is the past tense answer because you're asking them about something that happened in the past. If they're answering you about something that they would never do in the future, it's because they're subconsciously trying to disconnect themselves from the discomfort that they're experiencing from telling the lie. The next thing you want to look at is adjective overuse. So what is adjective overuse? Well, in basic communication, all we really need are nouns and verbs. So the minute someone starts adding adverbs, adjectives, and things like that, they're basically just using fillers and distractions to pull you away from what you're really asking them, right? So when you ask a person a question, all that should really be involved in the answer to that question is a person, place, or thing and what happened. The minute they start using adjectives and adverbs and they start filling everything up, they're doing it to distract you. Another one is the use of bolstering statements. And people usually do this, again, as a form of distraction, but at the same time, they do it to try to increase their credibility a little bit. So you might ask them a question and they'll say something like, you know, to tell you the truth, that did seem weird. Or, you know something, it's a good thing you brought that up to me because I was thinking the exact same thing. Again, what this does is it distracts you, takes the attention off of them, but it simultaneously is an attempt to make them appear to be more credible, as if they're in the same position as you, as if they're thinking the same thing as you, to increase their credibility. Another thing, anger and protest statements. So realize this, when a liar is about to get caught and they feel like they are being backed into a corner, they will strike out, kind of like a caged animal. Their defense mechanisms are going to go up. So the minute they start reacting with anger, or they start reacting with protest statements like, why are you treating me like a criminal? I'm a good person. I go to church. I take care of my kids. I'm a good parent. I don't understand why you're treating me like a criminal. Those are protest statements. So rather than just simply answering the question, the anger is coming out of them, the protest is coming out of them. And again, that's a deviation from simply answering the question that you're asking them. Another one is the famous guilt trip. So the person basically says to you, why are you interrogating me? Why aren't you interrogating everyone else? Why am I being singled out? Why are you treating me like this? Again, this is classic gaslighting, what we talked about in an earlier video, where the person is taking the attention off of themselves and basically flipping the switch. They're turning everything around on you. Another thing that a person will do is they will water down the issue or the topic at hand. So they might say something like, why is this even a concern? Who really cares about all this stuff? Why is this even so important? They might even go as far as to turn the whole thing into a joke. So what they're doing is they are watering down the importance of the issue, again, in another attempt to distract you from what's going on, to distract you from getting the answer that you're looking for. This is another one. Being overly polite. And that's a big one. You know, the customs agents are actually specifically trained to watch people who are answering them a little too polite when they ask them questions. So when a customs agent suspects that someone is bringing something into an airport or across state lines or country lines that they shouldn't be, like drugs or something like that, and they begin questioning the person, the very first thing they look for is person being overly polite, person saying yes sir, no ma'am, and just using excessively polite statements and jargon. That is a key indicator, again, that the person is trying to distract you from what you are asking them. Another one that ties into that is self-deprecation. So person will purposely downplay themselves in an effort to make themselves look weak. So you might ask them, hey Bob, were you the person that hacked into the computer and somehow stole the money? And Bob says, come on, I'm not that smart. Or Bob says something that makes himself look less intelligent than he really is. Self-deprecation is a big one. Personal, let me write that again, personal removal. So truthful people, when they answer questions, they use the word I a lot. So when you ask a person what they did, or you're interrogating them, or you're questioning them about something, and they're using the word I a lot, they're saying I went here, I went there, I did this, I did that, that is usually a sign that that person is being truthful with you. When someone is lying to you, again, they are subconsciously going to try to remove themselves from the lie to avoid that cognitive dissonance, that stress, and that anxiety that they're going to feel. And instead, they will use words like they, them, their. They want to purposely remove the I from the sentence to take themselves away from the task at hand, or to take themselves away from the lie. They want to remove themselves from it. Euphemisms is another one. And for those of you who don't know what euphemisms are, it's basically when a person substitutes one